time for us to begin our relationship conversation. Now, the holidays are here, putting extra pressure on families, especially the home when it comes to the husband and wife. Now, with us today, we have Mr. Kingsley Batire. He is a licensed family life practitioner and a professional life coach and counselor with over 2 decades of experience in relationship and personal improvement. He's also a member of the Family Life Coaching Association of America, and they run a platform called Common Sense for Relationships. It engages both singles and marriage to make better choices. Today's topic is a deep one: when marriage stops working. So, yes, marriages have their ups and downs, but you use the term stops working. That's a very deep statement. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here. Yes, stops working tells you that it is a marriage is it's a going concern. It's an institution. It's something that has engines that are moving.
Okay.
So if we say it stops working, it means that this institution or this machinery is not cranking up.
Okay.
So, but I usually say that marriage stops working when the people stop working it.
Okay. Fantastic. So, stop working it. You've used the analogy of an engine. The average car, the average vehicle we use needs quite a lot of things. It needs servicing, you know, it needs fuel, and it needs a driver that has sense to keep it on the road.
Yes.
Okay, so a lot of drivers of our marriages these days have road rage. Yes, so
a lot of emotions are all over the place.
Yeah.
So you see, for me, it begins to bear upon. If a marriage stops working, we want to ask why.
Yeah.
When people walk into my office, I want to ask why. Because if you come to me and say my marriage stops working, it presupposes that it was working before.
Okay.
So what changed? So this is where the sense is coming in.
Okay.
What changed? And if we're going to look at that, we have to look at different things.
Relationship discussion continues, and it's been a deep one. The 3 Ps: plans, purpose, and process. That's what we're discussing right now with Mr. Kingsley Batire.
Yeah.
Now, when marriage stops is a very deep conversation, but let's talk a bit about planning now. Who should be planning? Who is the planner?
Okay, you see, the interesting thing about marriage is the fact that it actually takes 2 to make it work.
Okay.
Now, even though you have different kinds of people and personalities in a relationship, you have different kinds, but it takes the 2, whatever kind you are, that you have married. That's why I said if we want to find why it stops working, we may have to go very far and ask, why did you get married in the first place?
Wow.
So that already tells us that there was already a plan on the ground. So, but at the point where it stops working, we need to look at, okay, what plan are the both of you working out? What's the plan? What's the plan? The plan tells us where you're going. Where am I going as a man in the relationship?
All right.
Where is my wife going in the relationship? Where is the family going? You know, we talk about the driver.
Sure.
The man is supposed to
be the
lead.
driver.
He's supposed to lead, right?
Yeah.
So he should be driving us to somewhere that all of us want to get to.
Sure.
Where is that place? Now, if you are not able to see where the family is going, you won't even know when the family has stopped moving.
Wow, fantastic. I love the way you put it there. So the plan is just like your navigator.
Yes, your roadmap.
Your roadmap. So you need to put some things in place. Now, I know you've probably done these coaching sessions with families where they actually write down bullet points of where they want the family to go.
Yes.
But then again, you said something about when the family stops moving. And I feel like a lot of men are pressured to keep pushing and keep moving, and then they forget that their spouse needs to also keep moving. Now, this is a difficult conversation, but how do you know when that marriage has stopped moving? What are the key red flags?
Now, if we're in terms of red flags, I would also still piggyback a bit to say, if conversations are not happening, it's already a red flag. Now, not that, sometimes you find out not that couples are not talking, Oh, they are talking about school fees. They are talking about food in the house. They are talking about the economy. But when was the last time that we talked about you, the woman?
Okay.
When was the last time we talked about me, the man? What am I going through in the marriage? Because for a marriage to work, you need to have two empowered people working it. Now, the concept of empowered people presupposes that both of you are whole and in the marriage. So at this point, you begin to pay attention to say, okay, when last did we talk about me? When last did we laugh about something?
Yeah.
We've been married in 4 days. It will be 17 years.
Okay.
I've been married with my wife.
Congratulations.
Right? Yeah, and we have 3 kids. Often enough, we have to sit down with them and say, hey, 5 years, where are you?
Okay.
And I say, hey, to my wife, oh, the year is coming to an end.
What have you done?
Where are we going?
Okay.
Where are you going? Where am I going? What are the things that I need to do? How am I going to upgrade myself? So like you said, it's difficult conversations, but if the marriage is going to work, you cannot step away from having conversations, even difficult ones.
So now I feel like before the wedding even happens, a lot of couples are hoping for the marriage to make them whole. I feel like they feel like that is the missing piece of their puzzle. I feel like they're expecting their partner to make them whole. And this is a challenge because in the end, if you are not complete as a person, you cannot add value to someone else because you're not even there yet. You know, I'm just saying. So now you've just talked about wholeness.
Yes.
Now
wholeness.
you just talked about that now.
Yeah.
And there's one person driving and going at the speed of light, making all the money, getting all the properties, buying all the gifts for the woman.
Yeah.
But if the woman herself is not moving, you know, she still feels left behind, no matter how much money he makes.
Yes.
So how do you remedy that kind of situation?
That will bring us to purpose.
Okay.
Right. It will bring us right back to purpose because we look at it and say, so the guy can say, I'm making all the money.
Sure.
But you've married a woman. The moment she says, I do, I always ask, when you say I do, what did you really do? You need to ask those questions. What did I do? Now, if a lady says, I do to you, it means that you are no longer running alone. You have earned the responsibility to run together.
Okay.
And if we're going to run together, there's nothing as frustrating as running with 2 wheels where one is not working. You know,
the vehicle will be wobbly.
You know, planes can fly with, planes have 2 engines.
Yes.
They can still fly with 1 engine.
Yeah.
The marriage doesn't work like that. The marriage requires the 2 engines to be powering in order for the marriage to go where it wants to go. So I have ladies walk into my office and tell me, I've been running this marriage alone for years. But the man comes in and says, but I've been providing everything that you need. I've been funding the things that you've asked for.
Yeah.
So what else do you want from me? So these are part of the pressures, right?
Sure.
And what else do you want from me? Because I've been providing.
Sure.
In those cases, you find out that the purpose was not clear about what are we here for? Where am I going as a man? Okay. In 5 years, where do I want to be? In 5 years, what kind of woman are you going to be? In 5 years, where is this family going to be? What kind of children do we want to raise? Even whatever faith you belong to, the moment you are going into marriage, the concept of seed and godly seed in Christian homes comes up. How are you raising those? How are you raising the next generation? So the moment you say, I do, you have taken on a responsibility both for the present and the future of your lineage. So
now let's go back to the topic now. When marriage stops working, we also highlighted the holidays.
Yes.
Being a time where a lot of pressures come to the fore.
Yes, yes.
So now this holiday, what assignment are we giving our viewers? These couples who possibly their engines have just stopped working. Those marriages have stopped working and they're not even aware of it. What are they to do? Now,
the holidays brings additional pressure. And like I always say, sometimes you find out that the pressures of responsibility and demands are not usually the things that cause the engine to stop.
Okay.
Is that there already is a fault in the engine, and these pressures just exacerbate them.
Okay. So they were already there.
So the
cracks were already there.
The cracks were already there.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we don't notice it. It's the same thing when you do medical checks. You may be working normally, but it's advised every year, do an annual medical check. That's the same thing we advise. Every year, do an annual marital health check.
Wow.
Do a marital health check.
That's powerful.
Yeah, to ask to sit down and have a conversation with your wife and ask the question, how are you?
Wow.
How are we? This is where effective communication comes in.
Wow.
How are you? How are you doing?
Wow.
How are you feeling this conversation? There's something we do in my house we call open house sessions.
Wow.
Right? Now, the open house sessions is it's an exercise that everyone can practice. We do it in family systems engineering, right? In family life practitioner. The open house session is a time where everybody comes, we sit down together, and everybody says how they are feeling.
Wow.
And you, even if they're saying something you don't like, you do not have the right to question it. No, they can say it, but you just listen and take notes. Then, on another situation, we come to conflict resolution sessions, where the things that they have pointed out about me, in fact, there was one instance where the whole family said something that
you always do?
That I always do.
Wow.
And I was like, excuse me, they said, but daddy, you cannot talk. And you know, just when I was going to say, when I was going to say, okay, at least my wife will be on my side. It was three against one.
Wow.
And my wife was like, actually, it's 4.
Wow.
So I knew that, okay, this is something I had to pay attention to. And
not something for you to get angry about.
No, it's not something. Because a lot of times, there's something we call marital formation. Right, which is
you know what? I don't think we can start. We can't go into that now. Go into that.
Yeah, but
there's time. We still have a few more sessions.
Yeah, so these open house sessions highlight for you, even if you don't like it, but you need to hear your children and find out that the children in this generation, as much as you may say whether they are spoiled or they are debauched or whatever, they have some intelligence that you need to pay attention. And as the head of the family, just like the driver of the car, it doesn't matter whether it is just one knot that is clanging about at the back of the car.
Yeah.
If it is going to disturb the transition of the vehicle, you will stop and pay attention to it.
Definitely.
So even if your youngest child is the one that says something, you need to pay attention to it. Wow. And then you can now come in as the head of the family and bring direction to the
Mr.
family.
Kingsley, I think this conversation is one we cannot wrap up now. We have to take it to social media. Of course, please use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC and let us know what you think about this particular conversation. Comment on YouTube as well. Just search for TVC Entertainment and look for Wake Up Nigeria clips. Mr. Kingsley, can't wait to have you back on our next session.
Yes.
The conversation continues. MM and Edgar, what do you think about this conversation so far? When marriage stops working?
To be honest, it's brilliant when you get to hear experts talk about marriage and the importance of having communication in marriage. It's always very important.
Yeah.
It's important. I've been learning a lot. I've been taking notes backstage. I've just been taking notes.
Please do. Don't worry. There's some things that we wish we could continue with, but you know, the show has to wrap up at this point, right, MM?
Absolutely, the show has to come to an end, but we'll be here tomorrow. We're always here Monday to Friday, so see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.
All right,
Bye.
then.
Love you.
Have a great day, everyone.
Have a great day.
Bye.